Bonjour à tous. Welcome to our Space TV program. We are reporting from Rennes, where is held one of the biggest indoor shows dedicated to animal production in Europe. As part of the Web Agri team, the online magazine for French cattle breeder, I'm glad to propose a special insight into a critical issue: how to reduce impact of animal production on climate. And today, we will focus on the Dutch example. To discuss it, I'm delighted to welcome Martin Scholten, who will enlighten this policy plan of action and give an insight into how it is implemented on the ground. Dr. Martin Scholten, you are a scientific advisor in transitions towards circular agri-food systems within the globe. Among many other roles and positions, you've been the General Director, Animal Science of Wageningen University Research during 12 years. And today, you are a Science to Policy Advisor to the Dutch Ministry of Agriculture, Nature and Food Quality for the Netherlands vision: agriculture, nature and food, valuable and connected, and served various state advice committees on critical issues related to intensive agriculture. Martin, would you mind clarifying for our listeners what is the situation in the Netherlands?
Yes, for sure. Let me start with telling that the Netherlands is a leading country when it comes to livestock production, and we are proud of that.
You can.
But on the other hand, it is a small country, densely populated, not only with humans, but also with livestock. We have 33,000 livestock farmers, good for 160,000 direct jobs, and another 200,000 indirect jobs. So it is important for the Dutch economy. Actually,
of course.
I can say 5% of the Dutch economy is depending on the livestock production. So it's not only something to be proud of, it's also very important, but also concerning, because 70 million people live with 4 million cattle. 1 million of the cattle is beef cattle, the other 3 million is dairy cattle. We have 1 million on sheep and goat, but 11 million of pigs, and 100 million poultry. So that's densely populated. And yeah, the country faces concerns about that. And the main thing is the climate change. Almost 10% of the greenhouse gas emissions comes from livestock. And in the Netherlands, we also are concerned about the environmental pressure of nitrogen. And actually, 40% of the nitrogen deposition on nature is related to emissions of ammoniac from livestock. So, yeah, something to be proud of, something very important economically, but also environmentally concerning.
Exactly. But does it mean a substantial reduction of the livestock, or can it be handled by a transition of the livestock farming practices towards lower emissions?
Well, actually, that is the challenge. You have two choices, and well, let me simply say half of the Dutch people say choose for choice 1, and the other half would choose for choice 2. So that means that, yeah, we can reduce the emissions by reducing the livestock density. I call that the quick solution, not the real smart solution. The real smart solution is to improve the livestock management, to improve the practice of livestock farming, and to make sure that the livestock farming is intrinsically lower in the emission of greenhouse gases, of nitrogen, of all the other things that you can think of. And yeah, the challenge is to find the second way, which is not the quick solution. It costs more time. We have to learn new practices, but it is worth, because then we can keep the livestock production in the Netherlands, we can keep the livestock farmers in the Netherlands, and we can keep the livelihood in the countryside.
So what's the plan really? Because we know in France, France has been ahead as agroecology has been discussed almost 10 years ahead under François Hollande presidency. But back in 2019, the Dutch government has adopted a policy plan to become leader in circular agriculture. So what's the difference? Can you explain to the listeners between this circular plan and agroecology?
Yeah. When we came with the circular farming, the circular agriculture, it was almost the same time that France adopted the agroecology. So this question has been raised many times, and we even had with students from France and the Netherlands, we had summer schools about what is the difference, but also what is the similarity between the two. And actually, I can say there is more similarity than differences, but if you want to express the difference in the agroecology, it is really focused on the agricultural principles, agroecological principles, regenerative approaches, with a strong focus on extensification of the livestock. The principle of circular farming is circular resource management, resources, that means fertilizers and feed. So to use circular fertilizers produced from manure, for instance, and circular feed produced from biomass that is already there in the agri-food system, so not specially cultured, produced from crop, feed crops. But in the final end, the both principles are turning around, only thinking about the production capacity and the production efficiency from the productivity point of view towards more sustainable resource management. We have only one planet Earth, and the planet Earth gives us the resources to produce food, but the resources are limited. So we have to make the best use of the resources. We cannot waste biomass. We have to use that, and we can feed the crops, and we can feed the animals with that. And I think that's the main principle. But behind that, there is the point that it should be an integrated way to meet the various challenges that we have. We have a challenge on climate, we have a challenge on environmental quality, we have the challenge on nature, like the nitrogen in the Netherlands. And in the Netherlands, the targets are 25% further reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, which is quite a pretty challenge. Yeah. But it is also 50% of the reduction of ammoniac emissions, which is a higher target. And the fact is to see how can we cope with both, and probably agroecology is more concentrated on the climate change and the climate mitigation and the carbon sequestration, whereas the circular farming is also related to avoiding emissions by not pressing the system with inputs that's not necessarily there.
So the same objectives that both are in fact.
And in practice you come to the same. And I think in agroecology in France you also have to find ways for intensive farming systems. At high productive areas you have more intensive farming systems. In more marginal productive areas you have more the extensive farming systems, but that's also in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is not only intensive production, it's also extensive.
So Martin, we are here in the heart of Brittany, probably the French county which offers the most similarities both in animal and crop production. And somehow farmers in Brittany and Netherlands face the same challenges. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. I see in Brittany, Bretagne, I see here a similar situation as in the Netherlands. The agriculture is more or less of the same type. The practices are similar. So also the challenge to move towards more circular agroecology, let's name it that, is similar. And I think we can best learn from each other, exchange experience, exchange new ideas, exchange data, information about it. I see some innovative pathways here in Brittany that is very interesting for the Netherlands, and I'm sure that there are some innovative pathways in the Netherlands that could be helpful for Brittany. And probably the problem in the Netherlands looks bigger, but the entrepreneurship and the craftsmanship needed to overcome these challenges, to not having it a problem but a business case for the future, is similar. And I think also in character the Dutch farmers and the Bretagne farmers are very similar in the way to find the solution towards the future.
So Martin, what's next? You have directed research for many years with a large team of experts within the Wageningen University to set up a model for the agriculture of the future. So what's behind this word, Martin? Could you explain how it works?
Yeah, it works like this, that you're fully aware of what kind of resources I use to produce my my animals, my meat, my dairy, my eggs. Not the standard ones, but the circular ones means that you have to be creative, thinking more broadly. But in the final end, it's a big expense for farmers to buy the resources. So if you have better available circular resources, you also reduce the cost of farming. On the other hand, if you have as a crop farmer crop residuals that can be used for animal feed, or you use in a more abused system in interim crops between your top crops, but these interim crops can be feed for the animals. Yeah, that is. Then you have a next product, and the same for the livestock farmer. If you really can make out of your manure a very good fertilizer, which is from an organic point of view good for the soil quality and the carbon sequestration in the soil, and from the mineral perspective very good for the productivity of the crops. And you also can reuse the water from the manure in your farm. Yeah, I think then that's the way forward.
And what are the ambitions of the plans? Do you have any figures to share? The ambition of the plan of this circular.
Oh yeah. The ambition of the plan is that it contributes to the big targets on adaptation to environmental conditions. So it is adaptive. That is really tailor-made solutions for that. We hope that with circularity we can meet the climate goals, and we can meet the nitrogen goals, and we can meet the water quality goals. 2030 is a first step. 2050 is of course the next step. It's a new way of farming, so that means it needs time to learn together, and that's also something.
And how do you help?
Yeah, that's something also for scientists. That it's not
implement that.
Yeah, it's not longer an experiment in your experimental conditions at your university or at your institute, but is working in the living lab together with farmers in an integrative and an inclusive approach, very close to the practice, because there you can learn. So it's also inclusive. It's inclusive of researchers and farmers working together, learning together from each other. Farmer to farmer extension of the knowledge.
Are the Dutch farmers helped with, in France for example, we have the chambres d'agriculture and the conseillers de coopérative ou de négoce. Which kind of advice are they given on the ground?
Yeah. You're so lucky in France that you all have these institutions all still in place, and we miss them nowadays so in the Netherlands. So we have to re-establish this kind of institutions, probably in a modern way. But the farmers, and especially the young farmers, they are in the beginning. They have to make the investment now for 40 years in the future, and they are willing to invest in circular agro ecology, but then there must be a perspective. So we have to help them. We have to help them with practical knowledge. We have to help them with financially to make these investments available, and we really need that kind of institutions that can organize them.
And can you tell us how the Dutch farmers welcome the project? I'm sure they know that the change has to be made, but
but they hope, of course, that. They are aware of it, and they are willing to adopt new practices. They are keen to explore new practices, but they want to get the time and the trust from the society, and that's in a densely populated country very critical, but also from the policy, and that means that the policy should not be one half saying, let's reduce the farming, and the other half saying, let's innovate the farming, but let's find a good way with a good perspective, economically perspective, credible from economic perspective, but also from a societal perspective of farmers. Farmers, 70% of the land use in the Netherlands, and I think it's the same in Bretagne, make the land, make our living environment. And farming in such a way, in the modern way, in a circular agroecological way, really improves the environment rather than harm the environment. So we need the farmers. Otherwise, we lost 70% of land use in helping us towards the society of the future. So let's keep
that's the way
positive
to go, really,
on the farmers. Let's make sure that the young generation farmers will be there for the next 40 years, and let's help them to do this job, not only producing food, but also producing a good environment for us, and let's pay them for that.
And Martin, you also work with INRAE in this field, but also other institutions such as Agritech, AgroParisTech, ACTA, and CES. In your opinion, how could an international collaboration help the transition in both countries?
Yeah, I think it is important to exchange the ideas and experience and all what we learn, not only from farmer to farmer, but especially also from scientist to scientist. Also in how to work with farmers, and that's the reason why we try in our international cooperation, not to compete but to work together, because every country is a living lab on its own, and we can learn from the practices in another country. Probably we also can learn what not to do, not only how to do, but also what not to do. And why do we have a long-standing relation with INRAE in France, and we are very keen that we keep that relation, but we also need to be closer to the farmers than INRAE can bring us. So ACTA is for us very important in that way. And we have a kind of university that is familiar with Wageningen, a university with a strong background in agriculture and in the thinking of the farmer's perspective to the challenges, and that is AgriParisTech. So we have very good friends, very good cooperators. We take up leadership, I think, as the Netherlands and France.
Could you share
also
some
in European
subjects?
research.
Do you have some subjects to share, subjects of research within RAE, or you could share with us?
Yeah, that is agroecology and circular farming. That is the
That's
subject.
the subject.
And that is the subject, and all is integrated
The
in
way
that.
to go, really.
The way to go, and then it comes to indeed scientific, interesting subjects. But let's mainly speak about farmers' interesting subjects. They have to bring it in practice. All what we can think of as scientists in all our monodisciplines, they have to bring it together in one integrated approach on their farm. So they need cooperative scientists, because that is the best help. But scientists can do nothing in this respect without the help of farmers. Actually, their practice is
But
the living lab.
they will come along. So let's stay on this positive note, Martin. So thank you.
For sure.
Thank you for having been with us, and goodbye to all.